So next up, we have a very exciting session called the Whiteboard Session that will focus on unveiling CTV's potential. In an era of rapidly evolving television, the CTV landscape is teeming up with opportunities for advertisers, content creators, and viewers alike. This session will pave the way for fresh ideas to be generated in real time, and the primary focus will be on exploring the possibilities that CTV brings to the table, spanning advertising, content creation, technology, and viewer engagement. I would like to welcome our panelists for this session. Please welcome Akash Jain, Head of Media at Flipkart. Anil Gurnani, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at TTK Prestige Kitchen Appliances. Nachiket Deole, Head of Sales India at Double Verify. Abhishek Upadhyay, Senior Vice President, Digital Strategy and Innovation at Hiveminds. From the consumer side, we have Urmi Sanjay from Social Panga. And our moderator for this session, Nikhil Kumar, Chief Growth Officer at mediasmart. Nikhil, over to you.
Great. I hope nobody's had lunch yet. We are hoping the energy is still alive and we keep you motivated enough for another hour that there's lunch after this if nothing else works. So, great. Welcome, everyone. I think super excited to have the second year of the CTV Asia Symposium. And I think, as the topic suggests, this is not your usual panel, right? This is not me asking questions and then you having answers which you already know about. And then, obviously, some of you taking notes and then probably you can hear the recording. But I think the objective of this session, it's called the Whiteboard of Possibilities. And the objective of this session, very categorically, is to imagine a Christopher Nolan movie where what could be the whiteboard of possibilities. And the beauty of this session is we have agency representation. We actually got a real consumer of connected TV, which she posts very highly. We hope that turns out great because we would love to know what's happening on that side. We have Nachi, who's an absolute legend in the connected TV space and such a nice guy to fill in for Karthik, which is really, really highly appreciated. We have Anil, deep insight on traditional consumer marketing, absolute, a brand that seeps so well with households and families. And then we have the new age Flipkart. This is where the action is. They have pretty much the whole understanding of media, and Akash sort of, manages that. So let's start. I think before we deep dive into the creative realm of CTV, let's ground ourselves in some compelling statistics, right, from an Indian advertising landscape. India in 2024 is supposed to be around 200 million users in India, which is some report. Now, that is obviously challengeable. This is obviously presenting an unprecedented opportunity. Now, imagine a scenario where a family settles in for their favorite show on a lazy Sunday afternoon, streaming seamlessly through their smart TV. As the opening credit roll, an ad interrupts the viewing experience. But instead of reaching for the remote, they lean in with curiosity. You know why? Because it's not just an ad. Probably that ad can convert into a great order, could convert into a great experience. Maybe it could be sensory experience, it could be engaging experience. Imagine that. And I think that pretty much highlights the whole broad sense of what could be the whiteboard of connected TV possibility. So how we'll start is, I represent AdTech and I will throw a question on what have you been seeing of connected TV? And do you really think it's a fad or do you really think it does have the whiteboard of possibilities? So let's start with you, Kash. What are your thoughts on the current realm of connected TV, how important it is in your life?
Hey, first of all, thanks for having me here. I think, CTV, when it all started about 4-5 years back, right? I think it started with, say, we were discussing, it started with, say, a line item in our media plan saying yes. It would largely be to please people saying, oh, you know what, in less budget, probably I'm doing TV for you. That's how it started. And at that point, I think you just had video advertising, right? CTV largely was just say, YouTube or probably Hotstar or some big OTTs of the world. Couple of years down the line, I think it opened up to non-video led. Okay, so your boot videos of the world, or probably you open your first carousels or mastheads, etc. So at that point, I think the maturity started saying, okay, it's not fad. It's actually something. It's something which entire industry is acknowledging that this is at some point going to beat the linear TV of the world, and which is already happening on rest of India in other parts of the world. So I think it definitely is not fad. It is something which is here to stay. I think we are just seeing tip of iceberg. There's a lot more which is going to come our way with a lot of ad tech into it going forward.
Great to hear that. I think inside, I think Flipkart has been synonymous with everything that you see a lot, and I think you guys are adopting media trends far before many people even look at it, and I think that speaks volumes of your media efficiencies and how you're looking at it. We'll sort of come back to that, but Anil, that gets me to you, right? I mean, TTK Prestige, a name synonymous with Indian households. Everybody knows that, it's something that we grew up with and we understand really, really well. And evolving the thought process from a very traditional mindset of advertising to looking at these new connected TV advertising, are you also in the dactum of, I'm getting to where I need to with TV, please, unless you are crossing that, talk to me, else, this is too small for my time.
No, I won't say that because traditional marketer like us also definitely feeling the heat of it, because, and why not? If you really see, 500 plus consumers, million consumers are on OTT platforms. Okay, there are 35 million households which are having connected TV right across in India, as we see, okay, and which is going to, and still the penetration level, if you really see, is only 15 to 20%. Okay, that is going to go up. Okay, and most importantly, I think why marketers are going towards, if you really see, why is it beneficial and why people are shifting towards it, a brand like us as well. Number one is, I think one is budget optimization, which we talked about in terms of wherein you can really see where you are spending, how the effectiveness of the ads are. Number two is targeting, real-time targeting that you can have, which you are not having in a conventional TV media. And it's very relevant for us as a brand, because for example, kitchen appliances is one category where consumers are very involved. Okay, and state-wise, culturally also it changes. Okay, one appliances in one state, in one kind of cohort will not be applicable for the other cohort of consumers over there. So we need to target consumers really that kind of specific product where it is relevant to them. So CTV advertising actually helps us to do that over there. So these are the various beneficials, and you can really live track the effectiveness of the programs right now over there. So these are certain things definitely which, because of which brand like us also have shifted. So I think close to 15-20% of the spends are already on this, and it's going to increase much more beyond that.
That's a point that people who are pitching should note, because you're going to disturb in many ways after the panel. So 15-20% is that budget that's allocated. Huh? So if you're not getting there, you've clearly missed out. So let's and I'll come back to the whiteboard, because I would love to know, I mean, a day where you're watching a cooking show or Anupama, and in that, suddenly this is the brand where the TTK placement will come, and the lady is saying it, and then with her gestures, she's able to order the, I don't know, whatever appliance. I mean, we'll get to that. Let's see what is the vision that you have, and let's see if people in ad tech like us can build it, right? I think that's the beauty of this panel. Nachi, my friend, we have been together building this category in India for almost 3.5 years together, and we've never been on a panel together, right? Because you like having individual sessions. But
that's right.
But I mean, where there is money, where there is consumer, where there is advertiser dollars, there is fraud, right?
Yeah.
And I think more and more reports that people study, I think CTV fraud in Western markets, in Europe, is so big. It is unbelievable. And I think some of the things that I was talking to some of the OEM manufacturers, that you put your ad on YouTube, you switch off that TV, you switch it on, the YouTube ad is still rendering. My God. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not blaming YouTube, but I'm saying what's going on, and how do you guys have coped up like with this new, because everything in our world is about device ID. How have you guys coped up?
Yeah. Interesting. So we're not supposed to be on this panel either, but I think events are more real time than digital advertising these days. So I've been like not even last minute addition to the panel. It's like last second addition, but I'm pleased to be here.
Welcome to my life, man.
But I think, let me just take a step back, right? We're talking about fraud on CTV. It's not just about, fraud, right? In general, media quality, right? Which constitutes multiple aspects. Now, earlier panel was talking about measurement on CTV, and I think a TTD representative said that we need to not restrict our measurement on click-through rate, but move beyond that and look at view-through rate and stuff like that, right? But there are many myths when it comes to CTV, right? We feel that CTV is a clean environment, right? CTV is a brand-safe environment by default. CTV gives high viewability by default. CTV has no fraud, right? That's what we've been taught. That's what we believe in, but that's not the truth, right? And it's not only fraud, right? Now, when it comes to brand suitability, there are definitely issues on CTV as well, because what you can see on mobile, you can see it on TV, right? It's just another device. That's all, right? Viewability perspective, right? Not necessarily, yes, comparatively CTV viewability is higher, but there are multiple formats when you advertise on CTV. It's not just a video, right? There are home screens, there are in whatever, right? I don't know about that, but, and the viewability changes, right? So brand suitability is an issue, viewability is an issue, fraud definitely is an issue, which you spoke about. So I think a Group M report last year and year before that said that about 15% of the impressions on CTV are served when the TV is switched off, right? Because intrinsically what happens is you switch off monitor, but whatever is happening at the back end is still on, right? So you switch it on back and that's still running, right? So that's where I think as an advertiser, marketer, and agency, you need to really control the delivery of your CTV or any digital execution for that matter, right? You definitely need to ensure that the ads that are getting are in. Hello? Yeah.
You said 50% of fraud and they switched you off. This is
No,
CTV
it's not
conference.
50, it's 15, 1-5.
1-5 guys, okay?
Yeah.
He came to a CTV conference, says 50% is fraud.
Yeah.
They switched off his mic.
No fake news, no misinformation, wrong time. So-
This guy was not a part of the. We didn't plan this.
Oh, don't worry, so we'll optimize that for you.
No, I think touching very interesting points. I think some of the things that you're talking about makes a lot of sense, because I think what is connected TV viewing, right? I mean, Anil did mention a number, 30 million households. Now, who gave that number? There is no accredited body for giving that number, And I think the beauty of it is, and I've done this many a times. I go for panels and I ask the entire room that, okay, let's check here. Let's do a quick check. If everybody is still here with me, and second is, how many of you guys have connected TV or connected TV viewers in this room? Dipstick. Very nice. So there are very few, so they are saying that the spotlight will come on them if they don't raise their hands. But in larger rooms, when I ask this, there's hardly 50, 60 people, right? Now, what is connected TV? This term connected TV was made by some of us sitting here. Okay? The Indian household doesn't know what's connected TV. My mother, her grandmother, they're all watching connected TV, but I'll tell you what, when I ask the question a little differently in the room, and I say, how many of you have remember the last time you recharged your DTH connection? And then it's striking them that, no, you're right. Actually, TV is still on. I didn't recharge it. It's been a really long time, actually. And then it strikes them that during COVID, what happened was 2 years you were stuck at home. There was no content to watch. I mean, how much of Kapil Sharma can you watch and repeat? I mean, it has got boring. 2 years of content. Imagine 2 years. You can't even fathom right now if I say you have to be stuck in the house for 2 years, right? And there is only depressing news. People are dying. You switched off. You absolutely switched off, right? And you said, I can't see this. And somebody in your house said, Arey, this is really nice content, right? Now, I'll ask a separate question on this panel. How many of you have watched Squid Games? Everyone, right? Everyone. How many of you have watched Money Heist? Everyone. Which one of you are from Spanish origins or have parents who are coming from there, or forefathers, or Korean. Could be Nachi. I always had my doubt, but, but I think none of you are. Now, none of us was watching Suryavanshi when they are throwing it down our throat for so many years on Set Max. Yeah. Now you were watching Squid Games in Korean. Wow, yeah, matlab, very nice. What's happened? COVID has regimentalized and changed your habit. What it has done is you don't call it connected TV at home, but it is operating. Your dadi is watching Anupama, unke baath, she got the remote, she know how to, either left right kiya, app on kiya, arey Anupama is in your front, started. Now the home screens have come into play where there is money, everybody wants to make a buck. I mean, when me and Achi started 3 years back, there was nobody doing this. Okay, we were only propagating, nobody was listening. And today there's a OEM play, there is a OTT play, there is somebody coming with a whole aggregator schematics, but they're all becoming walled gardens. They are saying, boss, I can't pass my device IDs, boss. So now, Akash or Anil is saying, guys, Abhishek, we want a frequency capping of 3. Please don't extend it. We don't want to create ad fatigue. But you know what? We want our ads on all 4 OTTs. They're not sharing data. That's where the power of programmatic advertising, right? Unifying your approach, unifying the user, because the same, and I don't believe, like we are in a world today where we have to stop thinking where the ad is shown and focus on who the ad is shown to. So good luck if you want to have a 1400 CPM on a popular show and say, because this is the most popular show. But the same CTV user is available next day at 100 rupees on another app. So you are going back to traditional TV advertising, but you're not thinking digital age at all. And I think that gets me to you, Abhishek, right? I mean, obviously for Hive Minds, you've been obviously, I'm sure the last few months of meetings or year of meeting would have been, so guys, what's your plan on connected TV, right? And there is a heat around it, and who has the best connected TV reach. There is the whole OTT play, OEM play, and there are programmatic guys like us, and there is fraud, which Nachi is probably managing. And how are you mitigating amongst these stormy sands? And then obviously you are largely TV, right? I mean, you understand TV, your partners understand TV, and now you're putting a factor of, a TV is a TV, but you call CTV digital, but TV is offline. How do you mitigate that? I look at TV online, TV offline. How do you look at it? And obviously I would love to know your cord cutter and cord never theory, because everybody's talking about cord cutters, and the last panel they were talking about DTH decline. So you're calling it cord cutter, but what about cord nevers? Because they are actually the ones contributing to the whole economy of connected TV. They are the young ones, got a TV at like 15,000 bucks on Flipkart, ordered it, installed next day, Wi-Fi on, CTV user live. Absolutely zero attribution, nobody can track it. OEM smart shipments have a different number. OTTs have a different number. Set-top boxes have a different number. They are not talking to each other, right? And I publicly say, on an average, I see an average CTV user at least on 5+ applications, right? And he has got zero loyalty to any, right? Because his papa is watching news in the evening, maybe he's watching Geo in the morning, then he's watching probably Ashram at night, 11 o'clock, but whatever. What are your thoughts?
I think we're quite happy and proud that we have suggested brands to be CTV also, or CTV first in some cases. So much so that it is part of the annual plans saying, okay, lead with CTV, right? So there are brands where either maybe they're not yet ready for TV, the whole hog, right? Or maybe they want that incrementality, and especially for a more connected audience, because 9 out of 10 things that they do as touch points is with digital media. Why is this one thing different, which is TV, right? Why not link that missing piece and bring that also on connected TV, right? So connected TV for us has become a very go-to thing for our brands, especially with say affluent users, people who consume their content in bite-sized portions. Like एक episode I've seen today, next episode I'm not sure. I might see it either as a binge right now, or I might see it 1 week later, right? So for all these viewing habits, which inherently got fragmented, we had to respect that choice by not just doing, say, prime time only kind of television, right? And see, Highminds as this thing is digital first, so this came very natural to us. In a way, okay, now we are also playing on the big league in that sense, if you could say so, because otherwise this whole playground of creativity which was meant for the large screen was kind of excluded for digital advertisers, Now we are also there. And consumer is there, advertiser is there, agency is there, and so on. It's a match made in heaven.
I think a very interesting point that you also bring up is on, this approaching the whole connected TV with the old lens, right? Now, this is what he mentioned that, why are you putting your money on big shows? The connected TV ecosystem is it's not appointed viewing. So it's now at the heart of everything we all do is the consumer, right? And what really matters is what the consumer wants. And the consumer today says, I will not watch Big Boss at 9:30 every Saturday. I will watch it on Sunday morning eating Meghna biryani. And if you force me to do it, some of the programs that I'm seeing a lot often is like, oh, come every day, 8 o'clock, and this show will be live then. Arey Baba, you have taken connected TV and put him back to coming to 8 o'clock. He will not watch it at 8 o'clock, Baba. He doesn't want to do it. And that is where I think a lot of this thought process is also being educational for marketers, right? Because I think while they see connected TV as a great media additional item, they're again going back to, oh, I want Geo. Oh, I want Big Boss. I want the, live. And I think an important point is, like you mentioned, on binge watching, content. Content is at the center of everything, right? The world is between content and commerce. TikTok is big because it's content. YouTube is big because it's content. But on connected TV, I think you don't mind watching an ad which you're watching Mirzapur for 1 hour, right? But in a 3-minute user-generated content or a Yo-Yo Honey Singh video, if you have to watch 2 non-skippable ads, good luck. What do you do when you see an ad on YouTube? You skip it. So if you're skipping it, everybody else is also, please. So, a lot of that, I think, 1+1 thought process starts to seep in. But obviously you have to challenge, you don't just challenge the God, right? It is YouTube. It is the largest advertising platform in the world. Let's ask, we're all giving Gyan and we all have our marketing hats and we're all marketers. Let's ask a consumer. What makes this panel so different is we've got a consumer who is a connected TV consumer. And while we all might be, we've got a specialist is what we feel. What do you think the whiteboard of possibility should be? Where do you think your connected TV experience is and what is it lacking? What should we all as a universe, advertisers, which nobody likes watching an ad, but technically some ads are really good, some people like watching it. Fraud partners, not showing you the wrong ad, unnecessarily they are showing you a diaper ad for no reason, which makes no sense. Somebody got to get that sense right. People like us who are building tech, how can your remotes or how can your screens, how can your engagement, how can your attribution, how can your targeting be far more efficient? What are your thoughts? What is the world? What is your craziest idea of connected TV viewing experience?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me here and asking me this question. I think when I think about just connected TV, the first thing comes is my generation. We are very moody and we don't want to spend 20 minutes of our time just scrolling through what we want to watch. We don't want to do that decision making after a very tough day. So one thing that we should have is AI generation and easy prompts that just helps me decide what I want to watch for the mood that I have today or I'm going to have in the next 1 hour. That is one thing. And I feel like more integration of 6-second ads. Let's be honest, when we are also on reels, the first thing I do is just if the reel catches my attention in the first 3 seconds is why I'm going to continue watching. If not, I'm just going to skip it. So that's the same thing with advertisements. I'm not saying don't add ads. Yes, we want to watch ads that are very relevant to us, but they need to be shorter and relevant.
Marketers and advertisers, we have kind of realized that impatience can be monetized. And even patience can be monetized. So hence you have a very clear dichotomy between this short form sort of ads versus long form podcasts and so on, sitting on the same platform, almost. Right? So CTV, I think, kind of brings it both together on the same platform.
Also, I think, interestingly, again, what you mentioned is what you like, but it's also, and I'm sure, Anil, we've done enough researches and studies. It's called neuroscience, by the way. It's the impact of the first 5 seconds and what you leave within the last 5 seconds, right? It's bang on. Some people don't get it. Also for marketers, it's a challenge. We want to be creative. We were calling the most expensive directors. We've taken Deepika Padukone. We want to only shoot her for 10 seconds. It kills the whole purpose, right? So we're obviously in the dichotomy of always content, my ad versus, you know, what the consumer would want to be. And, you know, you can only do so much in 10 seconds for a Flipkart, and Flipkart does a lot of that, and so does TTK. What are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts on this? You know, thought process on, obviously connected TV is this consumer. You cannot change that, right? I mean, yes, we were shoving down ads down, people throw it on linear TV, they cannot do anything about it except changing channels. Now, these guys have the power, right? They're saying, 6 seconds हुआ ID बंद कर दिया, change कर दिया, नहीं देख रहा मैं. So, what do you think about that? Content, advertising, your messaging versus where the user wants to be. Both of you, thoughts?
In fact, we got these insights to the consumer study as well. So, for example, you know, right now we are having a campaign in IPL, you know, running right now with 75 सालों से प्यार इसी में पकड़ा है. Okay, with TTK. That's a brand ad.
Very
that we
visible
have
ad,
made,
yes.
Okay. So, in fact, this was the first time, I must say, that with these kind of insights, we made a 30-seconder ad to start with, obviously. We made 20. The first time we made a 10-seconder ad as well, this time. Okay, and if you really see many of the, you know, in playoffs and all, we'll trying to go towards that. Okay, so and we have, you know, apportioned it and sequenced in such a way that it is more of a 10-seconder or a max 20-seconder ad over there. So that's right. That's the challenge that the brand has.
But who in the family got cut? Because technically, I can imagine it was made from a very emotional lens. The
Yeah,
dadi was
yeah.
there, the dada was there, the family.
So in the 10-seconder, if you really see, we started with 30-seconder, with 20. Then assuming that the consumer has got a hang of it, has 1 or 2 impressions of it. Okay. Towards the end, in the playoffs, it would be more of, you know, talking just about the whole family sitting together. And if you would have seen the ad, the photo of the grandmother in the photo, it starts from there. 75 सालों से प्यार इसी में पक रहा है. So continuing with that thought and just having a culmination and climax of the ad in those 10 seconds.
No, I think just for everyone here, I think a lot of you think, I'm ex-L'Oreal, ex-Puma as well, so some part of my life was in marketing, but I think a lot of you think that, अरे the second वाले ad क्यों नहीं बनाते? It's very easy to say that. But please understand how much of planning goes into advertising, creating that 30-seconder, right? And that 30-seconder is not created from 30 seconds, by the way. It was a 5-day shoot, probably 10-day shoot at a location, Mehboob Studios, with 40 characters, director, shoots, artist, brand, client, shot 200 sort of, you know, versions of it, had to cut it down to 33 minutes, cut it down to 2 minutes, cut it down to 45 seconds, and post showing the client, which might be Anil in this case, cutting it down to 30-seconder, and then obviously cutting a 30, which is the cut of the cut of the cut, to a 20, and then cutting it to 10. I'm telling you guys, it's not an easy job. Just FYI. You know,
the phrase like TVC, right? It used to be an aspiration for what the creative should be. Eventually, you had to create a new phrase called DVC, right? Which became like, okay, ये तो mobile पे भी चल जाएगा, right? But now I think we have to come back to this thing like a CTVC, if I may call it.
Well,
so,
it's great,
where
man.
a creative is something different made for
today, I
TVC.
think if Rahul Puri starts his brand of this Gamlas, I mean, he can shoot it from his iPhone and put it on the connected TV. And his ad will be on TV. So this aspiration of TVC has now been absolutely, you know, you can put your ad anywhere. But Akash, going back to you, what are your thoughts?
So before I answer that bit, right, I think acknowledging a beautiful point you made, right, the differentiation between, say, my mom, grandmom, for them it's still TV, right? Like I'll give an example. My mom, who was tuned to watch, say, Anupama, say at 8 p.m., right, and suddenly one fine day I get a smart TV, I get an internet, and suddenly my mom starts seeing that at 11 a.m. and then 10 a.m. and then she misses 2 days, and then she binge watches 2 days. And then one fine day, some internet issue, something like that, and I said, you'll still have to watch at 8 p.m. She's like, why? उस दिन तो मैंने 11 बजे देखा था, क्या हो गया, क्या बदला? Right? That is, right? That's the insight where she realizes that there's something changed, right? It's not that era. That's number one. Number two, I think the way OEMs have proceeded, right? Like for us, it's easy, but anyone who's say 50 years plus old, right? For them to navigate into turning it on, finding Hotstar, scrolling down, Andar Jana, to the journey today that I think a lot of OEMs have a button. And number, I tell my parents, आपको 1011 दबाना है, सीधा आपको ये खुल जाएगा. I think that's the beauty of all of these OEMs and ad tech platforms coming together and making it adaptable even for everyone. I think that's the journey which is still started, and I see that it's very, very bright and going future. I think that is what is going to increase your households and MAU DAOs of whatever CTV. Answering to the point which he made, right, saying we hate long formats, etc. I think going back to possibilities. See, when linear TV started and we just used to have TVCs. TV में सिर्फ TV ads चलता था. उसके बाद concept आया L band का. How do you give opportunity to a lot of brands probably who will not have potential to spend say a 40-50 crore, right? आप L band ले लो 6 महीने के लिए, आप ये branding ले लो, etc. I think there is definitely a big room for CTV to think beyond just videos, to think beyond the current branding where I don't know, आज चल रहा है, suddenly आप L band का possibility ले आओ. Like any OEM is enabling, right? Where it doesn't disturb the experience of the consumer who's still watching it and still enables advertisers to give opportunity to still brand, right? I think there is still a room of figuring out more opportunities of formats which can sort of balance the brand side as well as the consumer side to still have a seamless experience.
And actually adding to it, okay, one of the opportunities which I can really see is integrating your brand to the various shows and movies, actually, because that doesn't disturb the consumer, while watching a movie or a show, as she rightly said, she doesn't want to get disturbed. But if your brand is integrated into that movie itself, okay, then it becomes a great hit, actually, because we have tried a lot of all this, Annapurni with Nayantara, the whole of the movie, the last 30 hours, if 30 minutes, you see, it's only about prestige, because it was about cooking, chefs, contest and all that stuff over there. So if you get a right content and a right movie and a right show, that brand integration also is an opportunity where, marketers will definitely go into more.
I think touching on both points, and Nachal, I'll come to you very quickly. I think, so the L bands is an innovation. It's actually live. We have tech call engagement saying, so basically you're playing an ad, your ad format can be translated into L band where a QR code can be scanned. So there's immediate engagement and action. But again, also on the innovation side of it, the tech, which is representing ad tech, that we've also built tech where at the end of it, attribution will happen when it is related to your device ID, right? Everything in media planning, everything in the world is about reach in consumers, right? Nobody is talking CTV की reach. अभी CTV की reach हमने कैसे बनाई कि यार हमने वो old newspaper वाला idea लिया, एक घर में एक newspaper आता है, 4 लोग पढ़ते होंगे तो 1/4 हो गया, मतलब 30 million बोल रहे हैं, actually 18-20 million होंगे, 20/4 is or 3 is, so I think, so what we developed tech is that you, at the end of the day, no ad is created for the purpose of मैंने बड़ा अच्छा ad बनाया अब मैं सबको दिखाऊंगा, मतलब all advertising is done for the purpose of driving ROAS, any outcome, right? I mean, yeah, there are great ads, but that also in probably a marketing meeting where Anil or Ashish or Nachi is being called or, he's going is all about, so you spend this money, what happened? Okay, tell me what happened. Don't tell me how many people saw the ad, great, good for that. How many people completed the ad, good. But in probably a real meeting, it'll say, okay, what impact did it make to my market scores, market share, organic. And I think if you're able to connect that TV viewing to your mobile experience, and we have been able to sort of crack that, and with household sync where you can actually engage with the user. If you are a BMW or you're a TTK or you're a Flipkart or you are a banking, at the end of the day, everybody wants, if you saw my ad, what happened after that? Now, in the traditional world, everything was a postmortem. You have spent the money, अब तो body पड़ी है, अब खर्चा हो गया, अच्छा हुआ बुरा, अब तो हो चुका है. Next time नहीं करेंगे, नुकसान हो गया. But that's where CTV differentiates, right? Because in real time, you can show the ad and 48 hours nudge the user, figure out if he liked your ad, he'll engage with it, he'll click through it, and probably then he'll go to the Flipkart, open the app, install the app, go to the TTK site, inquire about it, I don't know. But at least it's creating a funnel, which didn't exist in TV, where you could see the ad and then get a click through and then understand whether he installed and then even go to the LTV level if you want to maintain first party data. So I think that is where the world is moving. But going back, Nachi, I mean, now in the world of, this craziness, now CTV is, when we started, like CTV meant OTT. Yeah. But CTV is not that. Yeah. Right? CTV is many things, and CTV in many things could be CTV is fast. We've got over 576 channels at mediasmart with partnerships that we have. 576 fast channels. Fast people don't even know if I ask the full form. 576. What is fast? Fast is obviously internet subscribed channels, which are basically live TV channels in simplistically world. Live channels which have now been translated to an internet feed. And there is a lot of content there, right? It's like surfing your own old TVs as a remote one through niche, and it's all free. It's all free. You have internet, you're watching 300, 400 channels, right? There is fast, which works on CTV. There's obviously OTTs, there's no doubt about that. That's where the share of voice is. Now there's the whole OEM, home screen, एकदम इसको YouTube masthead बना के ही मानेंगे मतलब then up तो there is opportunity, we'll send it at 40 lakhs and so now obviously even within that OEM landscape there is no somebody who can monopolize it, because probably the highest TV manufacturers market share is probably 10-12%. When you say 10-12%, basically his active share of voice in smart TV shipment is 1 out of 10. In that he himself is saying that yeah, we are 60% to linear, 40% to CTV. So your share of voice is 0.4 out of whatever. And now in 0.4 you might be reaching whatever consumer, right? And then obviously there is news. The news are like fighting. These guys are at it. We are the #1 CTV channel. Sabki email inbox mein aa raha hai, we are the number. The elections are around the corner. How do you navigate across all this, right? Because you're coping up with the trackers and understanding of viewability and completion and fraud on actual user hai bhi ya TV kahin matlab TV is actually a mobile, because that tagging is also not happening correctly. So any couple of things that you want to share that it's not there yet, but we are doing some stuff on the attribution side of it.
I think you missed talking about AI, and if we don't talk about AI, then panel won't complete, right? So, I think I was reading a report somewhere that probably a couple of years down the line, 95% of the content will be generated by AI on digital.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं मानता मैंने यही क्वेश्चन अगला रखा तेरे लिए मतलब हम लोग क्या करेंगे मतलब
Now what we have seen, interestingly, right, how fraud used to happen earlier is, right, just mimicking user behavior by a bot, right? That's fraud. Now we all see that there is no linear consumer behavior on CTV or in digital in general, right? You're watching a show in the morning, you're watching some other show in the afternoon, something in the night, right? So it's fluctuating behavior. Now with AI coming into play, AI now is mimicking that fluctuating behavior, which is making our lives very difficult to identify whether it's a human or it's a bot, right? Because it's now mimicking, or it's another human now for us. So it's not only one problem, there are multiple problems coming from and coming in the realm of AI. I think it's going to be a tough fight for all of us to identify the right consumer. We've been talking cookie deprecation since my childhood. It's still not happened. I'm getting retired next year. So hopefully someday it will happen. That will pose another challenge, right? But with device ID and stuff.
No Google representation in the room today.
That's fact remains fact. So I think fundamentally planning science should remain same, right? It shouldn't change. As I was saying earlier, right? It's just another device with more transparency, more measurability options. If you want to buy, or if you're buying a prime time, for example, on TV, if you're buying a home page on digital, if you're buying a pre-roll on any OTT, I think the same principle remains for CTV as well, right? And we should not deviate from that. With the help of technologies, now you can further fine-tune that to get more ROAS on CTV, which probably you couldn't have done a couple of years back. Where I foresee now whiteboarding space perspective, I think getting retail media and CTV talking to each other.
Big
right?
time, man. It's the
Probably
hottest
that
topic.
Can open up.
Hottest topic.
I've just touched upon. Akash will further elaborate on that, right? That's gonna be probably a massive step for CTV adoption for marketers. And I would love to hear from Akash if what's his thoughts on that.
So I think, 10 years back, right, there was an era of telemarketing, okay, where my grandmom, my mom used to watch something. I still remember Magic Mop, okay, there was a product which was made out of a telemarketing space. TV, which we believed is a one-way media, they managed to sort of do two-way, telephone up, phone lagao, baat karo, all of that. Brands were made out of it, okay? From there, we saw over last few years, China becoming big on, say, live commerce. Mobile pe live chal raha hai, bech rahe hain, etc., right? I think tomorrow or, in couple of years, or I don't know when it happens, the era is going to come of, say, TV commerce. I don't know. There's a coin
It's
terming
now,
as
yeah.
T-commerce.
It's now. It's
Yeah,
not going to come. I'll give you an
exactly.
example. I'll tell you now. In the most expensive real estate in the world in terms of advertising, it's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? And this is not even now. This is 2 years back. It's the most expensive per second real estate in the world. There is a brand, and I'll not name the brand, which had the audacity to take that 15-second on Super Bowl and just put a QR code there. QR code with nothing. It crashed. Their app crashed. They had the capacity to hold 10 million active users at but they crashed. And I think this TikTok commerce, I'm ex-TikTok, I think it's crazy, Akash. If you go to Jakarta in Indonesia, man, it's nachi. I mean, you would see it and you'll realize on TV, she's selling and it's live and it's the products are going out. They're clicking on the chat. From the chat, the orders are getting dispatched. It is now. It is so now. And I think some of the tech that is trying to play enabler is because, TV has not reached a state where it's connected to your Apple TVs and all, you're connected to your credit card. So it's quite easier. And also, I think we are Asians, we are always doubting everything. And all these ads don't help with the duping and all these fake things. But I think we're quite there, I think it's quite interesting.
So just to add, I think last year, Flipkart as a brand took a audacious call on the India-Pakistan match, right? The World Cup which was happening. We took 10 seconders and it was just a QR code. I don't know if it was just a QR code for complete 10 seconds and we replicated a similar even on print and all of that, which was a singular campaign, right? So that was sort of audacity which we wanted to test to see what happens, all of it, right? The place where I'm coming from is much beyond what is already happening, right? Think this way that, okay, I want to go to say a D-Mart or a Big Bazaar to buy something, right? What if that store can come to your house? टीवी में घुसे, यू आर एंटरिंग अ स्टोर, आप नेविगेट कर रहे हो, शेल्फ पे देखा प्रोडक्ट जूम हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, कार्ट है, यू आर एबल टू ऐड इट, प्रोबेबली यू touch your credit card there or you scan and you're able to check out. I'm talking of that, right? And I totally think that is doable in coming years,
we'll
right?
build it. I think it's a requirement and we'll build it. And Abhishek, I'm coming to you.
Likes of Myntra, for example, are already deploying AI to suggest, say, the products of your favorite color, your dresses of your favorite color, sizes of your favorite color. Imagine you're watching a movie sequence, right? And maybe there is a certain dress sequence there in red, but you're going to see the similar dress in green because you happen to like green. It shows you in size M because you are a size M, right? And this is not even far-fetched because on the mobile, it's already happening, right?
I think it's quite interesting. Abhishek, I was coming to you. I think, Akash, those are very interesting. I think that's quite hitting the whiteboard. And I think if you read my opening lines, which the marketing did a really good job and I completely skipped it, that is what is written there, right? Imagine something and, it's like the whole thing. But Abhishek, I mean, we have limited time and I would love to come to you as well. In the whiteboard of possibilities, with the brands wanting everything, I'm sure you get used to it every day on connected TV. What are the ridiculous things that you're hearing and how do you want to address them?
I think some of it got addressed in the previous panel where people are asking for clicks and conversions and I think I was just talking to you guys before this as well. Sometimes just because you can measure something does not mean you should measure it, right? It's a ridiculous waste of your time and business acumen that you're unnecessarily managing too many KPIs which are not necessary. TV, fundamentally, it's a large screen. It's meant to measure attention, right? There are innumerable studies that just, for example, let's say do a sequencing thing, right? Ad sequencing. You show an ad on TV, follow it up with an ad on mobile. It's shown to have 50% more attention than just a single ad, right? It yields some 50-60% better purchase rates, purchase intent later. And we have seen this ourselves, a simple experiment, right? Your CTV video viewers, make it as a video viewers audience and put it on RLSA for search. That is giving 30-40% lesser cost per lead than a simple naive audience, right? This is already happening, right? So it is not in the realm of future in that sense, right? It is very clear TV was meant for attention. In fact, one of the things I want to advocate is, can we ditch these antiquated metrics like CPM and CPV when it comes to something like TV? TV, like in regular TV, right, you have a fundamental metric called GRP, which indicates to any naive planner the strength of the campaign. We don't have an equivalent of a strength of the campaign in its reach, frequency, this, that. You don't multiply five, six things and arrive at a strength. There is a beautiful metric I saw, which is cost per 1,000 seconds of attention. If you normalize that across all screen sizes, types of ad formats, etc., you would come to see that one of the metrics I saw was about $1.12 per 1,000 seconds of attention. That CTV was performing the highest, right? And that to me is a fantastic metric, because once you have attention sorted, everything else follows linearly. More seconds of attention, more sales, more purchase intent, so on, right? Can we make that as a standard metric? I mean, I'm looking up to you as an ad tech.
I would sort of Nachi, catch this guy and put him to the jail. Because see, I think what you need to understand is, yeah, it's a TV. Now, TV has no way of knowing whether the female watched it or the male watched it. Arey, he's watching Anupama. Why he can't watch Anupama, boss? I'm watching Anupama, yaar. Why not? I'm chilling. I love it, yaar. What's your problem? And, arey, she's watching IPL. She's watching IPL का क्या मतलब है? मतलब she's watching IPL. She loves cricket, यार. मतलब what is your problem? मतलब I think there is no way of knowing for a TV to know, you know, what is the attention span. And that is where I think these debates between TAM and Bark, and they are opening their whole thing, and they will install again 40,000 places. And I think while we are cutting down some of these metrics of measurement, I think BLI, you know, 150 people telling you what 10 million impressions actually served, right? But
in fact, the fact that you have 30 million, 40 million households willingly or unwillingly giving you data about every second of watching that they're doing, I think makes you a much more sophisticated panel for anything content in India. I mean, Bach has done a phenomenal job. They're quite fantastic at this. I mean, and generally statistics, you can extrapolate the viewing of the country. But imagine you have that much more accurate data, which you can tell entire country what are they watching. And you have ACR pretty much on all these televisions now.
But I don't believe the ACR thought process, because I mean, to be honest, if you are a linear TV user, you are not a connected TV user. Urmi, do you also watching linear TV and I have data of what you watch offline that I can use for connected TV? I find it like completely like, I don't get it.
No, on the connected TV universe itself, I think that itself can be a great panel, I would say.
See, I think how you're selling CTV, why you're buying CTV is essentially, as you said, right? It's qualitative environment, right? There is premium CPM because of the real estate available, because of the audience available, which essentially translates into the quality that it brings in, right? So whatever you're measuring, if you just add quality before it, so if you're measuring it on reach, then probably quality reach. If you're measuring on impressions or views, just add Q before that, right? I think that's probably the easiest next step for any CTV advertisers. And there are enough and more measurement tools available. It's my pitch here to kind of measure that quality.
I got to step in. Urmi, final one, I think the time's up, but for the whiteboard of possibilities, not as social panga, but as somebody, as a consumer, where do you see the world to be? What do you want with on your weekend? How should that be operating? Like, you know, Akash gave a very interesting example. What are your parting thoughts before?
Well, integrating 2 points which were discussed here. One that was given by Akash was, you know, just being able to visit the store or just see what is available, and also coming to the fact that we are Asians, we always doubt before, you know, buying something. I think what makes it easier for us as consumers is, let us just see what is available for us. Let's say an ad is playing, and if I'm interested, I might as well want to see more in that ad itself, that plays. I don't want to go to another tab or check this on my phone. I want everything right over there. That gives me an opportunity, like let's say now that I've watched this on a Friday, maybe next day when I have a leave, I'll go to the store and buy it. That just makes my you know, time better. I think that's one thing I would really like to see on CTV.
Superb. So I think our time's up, but I'm going to leave this with something that I do quite often, and obviously I don't do it as the guy who does it really, really well on the show, which is called rapid fire. Now, I didn't tell you about it because it defeats the whole purpose of rapid fire, right? I said I'll not put you on a spot, but then we are here. No, I mean, but I think the idea is, you know, the game. The game is very simple. I mean, you got to answer in like 5 seconds. Like, please don't think. And then it's you answering as an individual and not representing your organization. And I will not put you on a spot, but yeah, that pretty much is the game, right? So let's go quickly and let's wrap this up. Anil, I'm starting with you. The mic's got to be in your hand. Where did you watch the currently running IPL? On Star Sports or Jio?
Geo.
Ouch. Nachi, the great tech marketing trend which will become a fad, metaverse or AI?
Is metaverse still there?
Yeah, thanks.
I thought it's dead.
Akash, if Flipkart was a team in IPL, which would it be?
CSK.
Yeah, nice. You could have, acha, but with the MI, acha, okay. No longer MI, you can say, okay, I get it. Abhishek, in a cage fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, who would you be supporting?
Mark Zuckerberg, I think.
Well, good. Last one to you or me.
Yes.
The Poonam Pandey death fiasco and the Bombay shaving fiasco. The advertising, is it a yay or a nay? Cool lingo.
Nay.
Totally nay. That wraps us up, guys. That's our panel and whiteboard of possibilities. I hope you had a lot of fun. And if you have any questions, please catch us later, outside, wherever you want to be. Thank you.